What was Lil Baby shit again?
Seafood menu.
Seafood menu?
Yeah, on the west side.
Is it like dine in or takeout?
It's like a takeout. It's more like a kind of like a juicy crab / McDonald's. A little more.
McDonald's.
I'm saying like it's less. You know what I'm saying? What's up? What's good? Welcome back to Rolling Out After the Game. I'm Rashad Milliken. Today we are joined by two very special guests. You already know who these guys are, man. Brandon Marshall and Cam Newton in the building. How y'all fellas doing?
Feeling good. Feeling great.
I heard it.
How about you?
No. You guys have a show in City Winery in Atlanta tomorrow at the time we're recording this. Just so what should people expect at the show?
An amazing experience, and I, really proud of it. As an athlete, you get an opportunity to run out and perform in front of 70,000 people live. And those same folks have that same appetite to hear our conversations. Like, what are we talking about in the locker room? What are we talking about in the cafeteria, right? And Funky Friday and I Am Athlete, we've been able to present that, right? Like seeing Cam's shows, seeing my shows. So think about all those people that come back and watch our shows week after week after week. Now they get an opportunity to see it live. So excited about it. We'll have 2 Chainz as our special guest. It's at City Winery. Doors open up at 6. Show starts at 7 p.m. It's going to be amazing. Atlanta's always turned out well for us, and we expect the same tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the main things that we wanted to kind of convey, with this time is bringing sports to the same table as the culture, to the same table as obviously mental health, bring it to the same table as independence, bring it to the same table as corporate, same table as, fashion and so many different other things, current events, cultural topics. And one of the main things will be audience engagement. There's guys and shows that are doing it and killing it right now, but I don't think they're used to it coming from an athlete's perspective.
Right.
So that's what makes this different. So yeah, make sure you tap in 7 o'clock, really 6 o'clock, because we already know what these Atlanta ATLians can do. And just be prepared to be wild and amazed.
Cam, what part, and you too, Brandon, but Cam, with you being in the news for this right now, what part of it do you think the criticism against your opinions has to do with like just us as media members being scared you're going to take our jobs?
No, it's really not even that. I think, as a culture, as a race, we've always been, I can't really be me. It's almost like our black card can't show too much because we fear the sponsorships. We fear our job stability. We fear a lot of different things where, we should always speak our minds and respectfully to our neighbor as much as we possibly can. And there gets a point in corporate where it only could be one of us, you know what I'm saying? When it should be all of us, that thinks and moves that way. And I'm not against, anyone. I'm just more or less promoting the value of knowing your worth, understanding who you are and what you bring to the table too. So if you are able to do that, and I'm a person who's extremely aware of who I am and this awakening of like, I'm getting into this media space. I don't necessarily need, certain people in a way. Of course, would you like sponsorships? Yes. So of course, would you like for people to buy into your vision? Yes. I'm not saying none of that, but I think the audience and the community that you build from the consumer who takes and is a fan of your content, you have to be, it's easier for you to be yourself and accept it rather than something that you're not and still trying to get accepted.
I want to add to that, you asked, are they, you say the media, the journalists, are they scared? Let's get into it.
I want to get into it, like just straight up. So like for black people,
right,
in particular, black journalists, how many black journalists right now on ESPN, NFL Network that then player coach?
There's a few.
Name them.
Well, I mean, you talking about like the Stephen A's of the world?
Stephen A. and who else?
You talking about Skip? Well, black journalists.
Black.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Well,
who didn't play sports.
well, but this is
who didn't play professionally or coach.
Yeah, but that's not even. I think to what Cam is saying. I think people should be nervous, but be nervous for the right reasons. Now we have our own platforms where we can distribute our content. And so when you think about what's in right now, this is new media. This is a whole new lane, a whole new movement. People want real. People want authenticity. That's what they want. They want you to be organic. They want you to be vulnerable, peel back the layers. You can't do that on certain platforms, traditional linear approach, right? So when you think about us being able to do that and keeping it real and having access to the top athletes, the top artists, the top influencers, there's a huge threat. And and for real, the threat really isn't, Cam or myself or all the smokes of the world to the journalists and the other commentators on those platforms. It's the networks. People rather go on Funky Friday before they go on Good Morning America.
Right.
I'm gonna get more reach.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a better conversation, and I'm protected.
Right.
So it's a whole thing happening right now.
I remember saying, my bad, Cam. Like coming out of school, right? So I'm looking at local news outlets and stuff like that. I'm like, man, everybody my age does not have cable subscription. Everybody's watching YouTube, and now the kids are watching Kai Cenat versus Nickelodeon versus Disney. It's a whole new thing, and you guys are leading that way for sports consumption and culture consumption as well. I'll let you go, Cam.
Well, I think you have to be very mindful and not to discredit the female approach or the female stance in the sports space as well. Now, when you ask the question, who have done it, who's played the sport, who's did this, I'm looking at some dope females who are killing it and have been killing it for years that obviously didn't play football, but that's still, and I've learned this the hard way, by not giving them the credit that they deserve. So
salute to you for that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I wrote about that and people attacked me about that. I got called gay for that. Yeah. They're like, the writer must be gay. I'm like, bro, I was just calling out. You just called.
No, but I learned something right there. I learned something from, I'm in the midst of my chief of staff being a female, partnering with a producer, executive producer, and Kristen, who has taught me, hey, yo, hold on. No, that's not gonna sound right. But that's not to say a lot of people who come from this alpha male dominated industry can become mute to the understanding of where we are still in this world, right? So dare I discredit, any person who hasn't played the game to be able to speak on sports, because when I look at it, the broader spectrum is that if you say that that's an issue, what are you saying to the female reporters who are covering this game, right? But all in all, I'll give you something different too, where never mind who hasn't played, name me a person that's on TV right now, local or across the whole media spectrum, that is on major networks that has long hair, dreadlocks.
ESPN has one. Martez Spearman, I believe is his last name.
Okay.
But his name is Martez. He's new.
Yeah.
When he got hired on ESPN before the pandemic, he had the buzz.
Of course.
So
those things are something where I even have this conversation with the Steve Harveys of the world, who I just admire, as well as my father. My own dad was like, yo, Cam, tighten up now. You don't want to scare the man. And I'm like, Pop, hold on. This is the strongest man I know. You know what I'm saying? And even then, he still falls victim to the degree of, whoa, that's too much. That's too much black. Hold on, bring that card a little back down into your, no, but it's like, we don't got to be scared no more, And I'm not sitting up here saying, use these explicit words or use this particular word and become, I'm speaking on be aware, right? Because it's more powerful for a black man to understand who he is and be true to who he is rather than a person that they can control and manipulate. And that's not the case in regards to me. It's not to sit up here and say, I don't want to do business with a person who is not black. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that person who is not black can make sure and understand by doing business with Cam Newton, I'm not going to alter my approach because I'm trying to empower my community all the while of empowering others as well too.
100%, 100%. Oh, go ahead, Marshall.
I want to add to the hair part. So in 2016 or 17, everybody knew I was about to be done towards the end of my career, and I already did some deals like Showtime and was working on some other networks. FS1 really liked me. And so a lot of people almost everybody wanted to sign me. And so FS1 reached out to my agent. Is like, well, what's Brandon's plans next year? He's like, yeah, he may come out, he may retire. So it's a conversation. And they asked me, said, will he cut his hair? Right now, for me, going back to his Super Bowl. So if I'll pull out some pictures of his Super Bowl, what year was that? 2015. That was my TV look in my mind. I had like a little short hair and I had a little part right here. I said, okay, when I'm done playing ball, it's my TV look. Boom, yeah, but come on. Okay, let's sit right here. Let's sit right here. Yeah. Okay. So boom, I had that look. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm gonna be me these last couple of years until I retire. And so I start growing out my hair. And when my agent, the reason why I have long hair now is because when he said that to my agent, I said, oh, I ain't cutting my hair, right? And so you fast forward to the pandemic, I actually still went on. I had dreads. But it still affects us to this day, right? 100%. And I think that's when I hear Cam talk about it, it's like, yo, you got to show up as yourself in all these rooms, especially on television. That's what people want. You got to think about our culture leads everything. Hip hop's the #1 genre in the world. We show up and lead in fashion, in food, in every area. Now it's time for us to just own it and be comfortable in that.
No, I think to this point, and to the person that doesn't understand, they say, well, Cam, you're doing too much, or Cam, he's cocky, he's brash, he's bold, yeah, all those things. But I've taught myself not to cower in the room, not to come with the shrugged shoulders or hunch back. It's more or less like, bro, my chest is up high. You see, because that's what I was taught. And I had to believe in myself first going into these corporate meetings, because if I don't believe in myself, how can I ever, prove to somebody else to believe in me? So I had to be stronger. I had to be mentally tougher. And there's going to be trying times where you're going to get the looks like, does he always dress like this? Does he always look like this? And I just want to touch your hair. Like, those things, people are so naive, insensitive to certain things that it may come off a certain type of way. Like, why does he blah, blah, blah? I've been used to that for such a long time that now I don't care about the sponsors. I don't care about, organizations. And I've always stood on this premise about I'm not for everybody, right? And you're not for everybody too. I'm not just sitting up here, walking around and saying, man, accept me for who I am. It's like, no, be curious to know more about me, and I will prove to you that your narrative is wrong. That's all I ask for.
100%, 100%. Now, Brandon, I want to ask you, first, I want to give you your flowers, because, when Cam was bringing up female sports reporters, you hired Ashley Nicole Moss, someone we've highlighted on the platform before. So salute to you for that. I want to ask you, what did you learn kind of like in your conversations, in your interactions with Joe Budden, I guess through, just like entire thing of your media journey and stuff?
You good.
Hey, come on, man.
You want to get messy. I see what you did.
No.
That's good, boy.
I couldn't ask it the same way. Y'all did. Say this is a stop 7 for you.
Say it, though. Ask the question.
Okay, I'm asking the question.
You watch
You interacted with Joe Budden
because
I feel like you and Joe were in the same type of similar position, right?
Right.
Of like how the public view, y'all split ups.
That's right. Here's what I would say. I think the reason why I Am Iconic works and Cam and I work is because like-minded, right? And I'm not saying that, I'm or Cam is better than anyone else. It's just about like, if we going this way, we all got to be pulling this way. And so Cam, he shows up every single day to his office. He's building teams. He's leading teams. He's running meetings. It ain't just, I'm a face, right? He's invested his own money. There ain't nobody behind him. And so you think about my journey, it's the same thing. So we kind of speak the same language. I think that Joe was more of a sounding board for me because it was scary. Like, how did you structure this deal, or how did you approach this, with your homies who essentially are talent, so you not just him, but Noriega as well. I mean, I sit down and talk to all of them. Matt Barnes, give me the information. How should I approach this? So he was a sounding board for me, if anything. And I think the biggest lesson for me, and a lot of people can take this as they're building out their own platforms and doing this, is like, you got to have your business buttoned up from the beginning, and you guys all have to speak the same language. I love when Fat Joe was on our podcast, and he beautiful storytelling. But one of the things that he said that resonated with me was, he was like, yo, you got to know when to play the two. You know what I'm saying? What he means by that is, like, when he's with Khaled, sometimes he might have to hold Khaled's phone. Let me get the picture for you, bro. You got to play the two. But it's Fat Joe. This is Terror Squad. He's a king, right? And so, like, even here, there's times where it's like, no, that's Cam's moment. You know what I mean? Or there's times where it's like, yo, Cam, you better in that area than me. You lead that. There's times where I'd be like, yo, they know how I feel. I'm the creative director. I'm the creative director. I'm like, I need this, right? And they give me my space. So I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, not only through Joe, but Nori. Nori hit me up 2 weeks ago. He was like, I just want to let you know, bro, you doing the right thing. This is, excuse my language, he's like, this ain't nothing but some rap shit. He said, look, everybody went through this. He was like, you're in the right space. And he was just like, it's hard to be a boss to your peers. And then obviously there's a lot of lessons, but I think for me, there's a lot of takeaways.
All right. And now we only got 2 quick segments because we run out of time. So for Cam, being the PK, and then you guys are in, like, kind of like a lot of predictions, what you guys are doing now. Like, how do you kind of teeter that line of, like, taking the sponsorship bag and stuff like that, but also, like, I guess, staying true to, not ruffling too many feathers, because it's an example of this on It Is What It Is with Mace. Mace is a preacher. Mace, he says he doesn't gamble and he makes it, but the show is sponsored by, who they're sponsored by. So it's just like, where do you kind of, like, balance that out of, I want to make sure I give the people what they want, but also I don't want to take a bag that, like, conflicts the family's morals and stuff like
that. This is my ability to tell my sermon how I want to tell my sermon. This is my platform. God is number one in my life. Jesus Christ, being Christian, is something that I'm an avid person, and I lead with God, and everything else is after him. And there's times where a person's like, oh, he got a sailor's mouth. But when I think about the people who followed Jesus through the thick and thin, his disciples, they all had a background. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they weren't saints. They didn't grow up devout Christian. You had even one of them was killing Christians. So I just look at my content as my ministry. This is how I bring people to follow Christ. And I think with that, it's not for me to judge. I talk to them all, and I'm always eager to understand, but why? That's the most simplest question that my children, taught me. It's like, boy, don't go over there. Yeah, daddy, but why? But, and it's so marvelous. You just sit back and be like, yo, like, what would make you ask that simple question? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, because they really want to know. So I really be wanting to know. And I think that is the root of a lot of issues in humanity. Racism, prejudiceness, sexism, just stereotyping people from the jump because people aren't curious enough. Why is Brandon, what made him start thinking, like, when did he first have this Genesis moment of he knew he was not mentally okay, right? And they will play people and say, like, what made Cam just, like, who is he now? Like, he's supposed to be Huey P. Newton now? Like, what is he on? Like, but people don't ask those questions. And I along with so many other people who create beautiful content, my premise is I'm asking for me. Because if I feel like this, I know somebody else is feeling the same way. And I'm like, yo, we just just had a conversation, and it was like, what athlete would you want for them to have their own podcast? And I was like, I want LeBron James and Savannah James to have a podcast. You know? And I don't want to hear shit about basketball.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you guys are able to fight for each other. You know what I'm saying? Because LeBron may not but behind every great man is an even greater woman. You know what I'm saying? To go through all this success, I'm so curious and eager because she don't talk. It's not that she can't talk, she just chooses not to. And she had a beautiful response to why she's decided to kind of take the back seat and not speak so much on, many different interviews. And she said, I understood my role. I wanted to be valuable to creating a safe space for my family. And I knew who I had to be. So whether it's managing LeBron emotions, or getting the kids from point A to point B, or just or being a glue to the whole house, like that's something that I genuinely wanted to, know about.
All right, cool. I appreciate that. And salute to the wide reason line of questioning just with Charleston White, because I felt like you did an amazing job in that interview with that. So salute to you for that. All right, quick hitters to get out of here because we over time. Black quarterbacks. I'm gonna ask you guys about black quarterbacks. Y'all tell me what y'all think about them. Justin Fields.
Love him. I had the opportunity to see the 16-year-old Justin Fields out of high school. He was on my 7-on-7 All-Star team. And I've had great ones. Deshaun Watson was the first quarterback to come through. Bo Nix, Heisman hopeful. Sam Howell, the Commanders starting quarterback. And there's so much that Justin has to give the game of football. It's just all about, is he able to have that opportunity? Because time is ticking. He has the talent, but will he be able to prove it? And he has to prove it every single day.
I would say he has an opportunity to be legendary. But like what Cam was saying is, be comfortable being you. And as a young athlete, definitely a young quarterback, because there was more pressure on Cam than it was on me. Like, he's like the CEO of an organization. He got to lead up, you got to lead down. And that's the same for Justin. And so when you're young, you're afraid to be you. But we saw when he was him a couple of months ago, and he said, this ain't working. Some things changed. And then he went 300 yards, 400 yards, couple touchdowns, this, that, and then he ended up getting hurt. So I think he just needs to continue to lean into himself and be comfortable there, and he can be legendary.
Two more. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is special. Lamar Jackson probably being a Super Bowl this year.
That's a take. Next one. Kyler Murray.
It's crazy. Kyler Murray DM'd me Saturday, and to my surprise, as any competitor would, he said, give me time and I'll prove to you that I'll be a game changer. Right. And I thought that was timely of him. And I told him, I was like, yo, bro, one thing for you, can't worry about the he say, she say type of talk. Focus on you, focus on the grind, focus on performing and really perfecting your craft, because how Kyler Murray may prepare for a game is completely different than how Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, the list goes on. That was a bar. But all in all, it's just really being the best version of yourself, and above all, win football games. So
let me say this too, and Cam, you can add to this if you want to. The black quarterback has always played second fiddle to the white quarterback. The quarterback was, we got to be Peyton Manning. You got to be Tom Brady, Joe Montana, those types, right? I would say the era is the black quarterback era. So it's actually switching. Dual threat. Can you make plays? Can you be that game changer? Like, come on, you go on any 7-on-7 tournament and you see these black quarterbacks, man, they are just special. And it's God. Like, God is in us. We know that. It's the reason why the league is made up of what, 75, 80% of us, right? Like, it's our time. It's the black quarterback's time.
I mean, it's simple. Before I keep dabbling, make sure everybody come out. The City Winery, December 19th, which is Tuesday tomorrow, and have conversations like this, because at this particular point, what you will get is somebody from the audience to also chime in and kind of speak their piece about it as well. But when I think about the quarterback position right now, when I first came into the league, Caucasians was the majority of the quarterbacks. Now, when I look at the league now, Caucasians are the minority.
It's because of people like you.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always asked about, am I done playing football? And I look at it where I left the game better than when I first came in, because I gave more opportunities. And I'm a byproduct of what Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham, Steve Young to that degree, Vince Youngs, the Jamarcus Russells of the world, good, bad, or indifferent, Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper. These players gave me the opportunity to be, or to have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's that. Warren Moon, yeah.
I got the jacket on right now for B Marsh, man. Y'all know what to do, man. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know the right thing to do. But I appreciate y'all fellas so much. Thank you for all you've done for the culture. Thank you all you've done for sports and athletics. Shout out Charquez Bridges, just committed to Florida, a 7-on-7 alum of Cam Newton as well. Thank you guys so much. Stop by City Winery tomorrow night. I'm Rashad Milligan for After the Game. Anything you wanted to say? Anything else, Brandon? You look like you wanted to say something.
Good. Slick.
I'm going to let these guys eat. I'm Rashad Milligan. Until next time, please take care of yourselves.